after his positive COVID diagnosis. But we want to now bring you to a campaign update from the Biden campaign reporter. Let's take that right now for you. This is Fox's Ali Rafa is live in Miami, Florida. Now, Democratic nominee Joe Biden, Ali, spent the day in South Florida courting the Black and Latino communities, while President Trump, like I said, returned to the White House from the Walter Reed Medical Center. So, Ali, how has Biden's campaign been reacting to all of this news since Trump's diagnosis and his release today?
That's right, Andrew. So Biden made 2 stops here in Miami today. He stopped in Little Havana and Little Haiti, courting the Black and Latino communities. But there's definitely a change in tone since Trump's diagnosis. Biden is slamming the president after saying that he was trying to avoid going there this weekend, trying to push for a mask mandate. He tweeted about it today. He mentioned it in his events earlier today. He's saying, insinuating basically that if the president has time to tweet these videos from Walter Reed Medical Center, he has time to listen to the scientists and push for a mask mandate. There's been changes since Trump's diagnosis. The Biden campaign, whereas prior to Trump getting COVID, would test Biden and wouldn't announce publicly when they were doing it, and they would only announce the results of the test if he's tested positive. Now they're doing it much more often, and they are revealing the results of every single test that Biden gets out of an effort of transparency. Biden also said this weekend that he wouldn't use the president's diagnosis for political gain, but that seems to be changing now. Today, we saw him during his Miami stop and also during his town hall earlier today really go after the president, not as hard as in the past, but he's getting there. And so there's definitely some changes on the campaign trail as far as safety precautions, but that's definitely something we're keeping an eye on, Andrew.
And Ali, you know, how has this all impacted campaigning, like you said? And Biden has really hammered the mask mandate. I read today he's urging governors of all states to initiate their own mask mandate in their own state. Something we've had mixed messages on from him and Trump on that subject. But also a lot of polls being released today in some of those early states and battleground states as well. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So the tables have really turned in this election, whereas Biden was the one to kind of be slow to pick up in-person campaigning when the pandemic began, and we saw the president, hitting him for hiding in his basement. The script has really been flipped here. Now you obviously have the president returned back to the White House, but still has to quarantine, and Biden is the one hitting the trail, albeit with massive safety precautions. He'll be in Florida. He was in Florida today. He'll be in Arizona on Thursday. And in lieu of the president, since he's going to be at the White House and can't be campaigning, the Trump campaign has launched Operation MAGA, which is going to be a series of surrogates, the vice president, the president's family, going out in his absence and trying to keep the campaign trail running. And I think that also puts another focus on the vice presidential debate that we didn't really have before. Usually the vice presidential debates are not paid as much attention to than the presidential ones, but now that we're going to be seeing Vice President Pence much more often on the campaign trail, I think it's going to be have a lot more viewership than before. And so this brings COVID and the president's handling of COVID into the spotlight. And we know that, Trump benefits on the economy, but not necessarily health care. That's more of a Democratic point and something that Biden has been taking advantage of in recent weeks. And so the fact that the focus now is on COVID doesn't necessarily help the president's case, but you never know. The script also could be changed. We've seen a different tone in the president and different messaging in the president in the past few days. As far as poll numbers, Biden's poll numbers have definitely gone up since that debate. He enjoys a 14-point lead over Trump nationally in a new NBC Wall Street Journal survey of registered voters. And there was a pair of New York Times Siena College polls released this weekend that show Biden leading Trump by 8 percentage points in Arizona and Biden leading Trump by 5 percentage points in Florida. Obviously, Biden was in Florida today, and he's campaigning again in Arizona on Thursday. So these are definitely two battleground states he's paying very close attention to, Andrew.
And Allie, that's right, 29 days till the election, and, you know, debate, who knows what the debate will look like October 15th, but that vice presidential debate, there'll be plexiglass dividing the podiums between Harris and Pence. And both campaigns have committed to that next presidential debate. Might we add for the viewer that October 15th in Miami will happen. That's that town hall format. Just lastly, though, you mentioned Biden and Harris will be in Arizona later in the week, but why Gettysburg tomorrow? What's he trying to accomplish with holding a speech tomorrow at Gettysburg?
Well, Pennsylvania is still a battleground state. Obviously, Biden enjoys almost a home state advantage, Delaware being so close to Pennsylvania, but he is still campaigning very hard. He's been to Pennsylvania many times in the past couple weeks campaigning, so the focus is definitely still on Pennsylvania, Andrew.
All right, Fox's Allie Rafa live for us from Miami, Florida. Allie, we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we want to take you back out to Washington, D.C., where we were showing you